Fat and depressed. Fat and depressed. Could there be a chemical reason why this body, and for almost 2 years, I was depressed? Could it be that I was just missing an important nutrient, a signal or hormone? Could it be I was just missing exercise? The answer is yes. It's yes. It's yes. What was not found in a small segment of my intestines right here profoundly, and I have to say profoundly, impacted my life, my health, literally my everything. You see, there are certain nutrients that are important. And when these nutrients, which are called fat-soluble nutrients, don't get absorbed in the body and into your bloodstream and into your cells, you could actually say what was happening to me, and that was I was starving. I was starving in this big body. A body that wasn't missing any meals, but it was missing some very, very important nutrients. You see, I'm a doctor of natural medicine. I should know better. Tests were taken, exams were given, literally hundreds of hours of education was involved. And the answer was actually in the form of a gift. A gift. A gift that was this size. And it only happened about 3 weeks ago. And it blew me away. This gift changed my life. You see, many of us, actually many people in this room, and according to research, over 70% of all high school students are severely compromised in very simple nutrients like vitamin D, like vitamin E, like CoQ10. And that's the reason why we have these caffeinated double, triple lattes, and we have these sports energy drinks, and we literally have a billion, almost a, I don't want to say $1 trillion industry, but $1 billion industry with Red Bull, which, where did that come from just in the last? But let me tell you what it's all about. You see, in our body, there's only a small segment of our intestine that actually uptakes these very important nutrients. See, we have water molecules, and we have fat molecules. And what do they say? Water and fat, or water and oil, don't mix very well. So our body is exquisitely made in that after we ingest the food and satiate it and break it down, it goes into the intestine, and our liver here produces something like soap. And that soap is in the form of bile salts, which hits these large molecules of fat, breaks them down, and then does something really unique. It calls micellation, and it's a cage. The bile salts are water-loving on one side, and on the other side of that molecule, they attract the actual smaller fat molecules right in them. But if they're too small, then they don't get attracted. And then they encage that around. So what we will see in another part of the process is that you'll see, literally, it will look like a water droplet on the outside, and then the fat is on the inside. You see, our bodies can only uptake nutrients when it's in the form of water molecules or water base. So when we have this water base, it hits a very large surface area of our small intestine, and then finally gets absorbed in there right up. And from that uptake into those cells, molecules, it will then get distributed to the rest of the body. And that was where the problem for me was. Compromise. I found out I'm not celiac, But about 90% of the nutrients that are found in this wonderful getup over here have certain things called gluten and other things in it that stick to my cell walls and stick to my villi and doesn't allow me to absorb. Just like it's not allowing everyone in this room not to absorb too. It's just some of us are more compromised than others. And do you hear that? Some of us are just a little more or a lot more compromised than others. But everyone here is compromised. So, a wonderful company out of Switzerland, and the name of them is called VizPur, said, hey, we know this about nutrients, and what we want to do is create water-loving molecules outside through a supplement that will actually be able to be uptaked by our small intestine now at a very, very high absorption rate. That's why when I received this little packet of nutrients, of which the most important for me was CoQ10. And when that CoQ10 finally got uptaked, I finally had nutrition I could feel, and within 10 minutes, I had clarity of thought. I immediately couldn't believe it, but I could almost, not at that time, but run up the stairs. And I wasn't falling asleep on my drive home 30 minutes later. Couldn't believe it. It blew me away. In fact, it was so subtle but profound that I was like, oh, it had to be a fluke. And then every time I took a nutrient that my body could now absorb because I'm compromised, my body got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I ask you, many of you know me. Have you ever seen me on fire like this before? This is the way I used to be. And this is the way that I am now. So, we all have a choice. And that choice is we can go from starving to we can go to uptaked. You see, basically, what it's all about is getting our bodies to do the job they're supposed to do on their own. And this supplement, this company has created wonderful things that help us to process that along with no side effects other than good health. So I ask you, actually I invite you to say hello and yes to nutrition that you can feel.